In this video, I'm going to show you the method for comparing and ordering fractions. That is the second thing we need to accomplish this week with our fractions. Yesterday, we learned how to make equivalent fractions, and today we're going to still use that skill, but learn how to decide what fractions are smaller or larger than others, and then put a series of them in order. Here's something really huge. You might even want to jot this down in your notebook. It doesn't have to be word for word, but one way to compare or to order fractions is to write them with the same denominator. We need our fractions to have the same denominator before we can make a decision about them. If our fractions have the same denominators, that means that it'll be so much easier for us to decide what the smallest fraction is and what the larger fraction is. So I'm going to skip down here to our problem, and then we'll go back up and talk about the rest of that top section. So our problem right here is asking us to list our fractions in order from greatest to least. And here are my four fractions. I have 1/6, 7/12, 5/9, and 2/3. Now, how in the world are we going to decide what the largest and smallest of those fractions are? How are we going to put them in order from greatest to least? It is very difficult given the way that they look right now. However, my darlings, if we were to give them all the same denominator, actually that is so important, I think I'm going to highlight that guy, the same denominator, then it would be so much easier to compare them. We're going to talk about this guy right here. It's called the least common denominator. So same denominator means a common denominator, the same. But instead of using any common denominator, we want the smallest one that we can find, or it would probably be in our best interest to use the smallest denominator that our fractions have in common. And that's just because, as always, working with smaller numbers is always easier than working with larger numbers. Here's the good news. You already know how to find the least common denominator. It is the same as the least common multiple. You've already learned about the least common multiple. LCD, least common denominator of fractions. That means finding a denominator we can use for all of our fractions is as simple as finding the LCM of the denominators, the least common multiple. So here's my fractions one more time. 1/6, 7/12, 5/9, and 2/3. I'm going to take these, and I want to take the 6, the 12, the 9, and the 3 and give them all the same denominator. I want to change all four of these numbers into a multiple that they have in common. Well, the best way that we know to find a common multiple is to start listing. So here's my multiples of 6. I've got 6, and I've got them all listed here. 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, and we could keep on going, but you know how to find multiples, so I'm going to go through this quickly. The multiples of 12, 24, 36, 48, we could keep on going. Multiples of 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. Multiples of 3, all the way up to 36, and we could keep on going if we wanted to take the time. So now that we have all of our multiples listed for our four denominators, 6, 12, 9, and 3, we've got to find the smallest one they have in common. Now, I know we've never done the least common multiple of 4 different numbers at one time, but it's really no harder. Instead of looking at 2 lists, we just have to look at 4 lists. So scan those lists, look at them again, and see if you can find the smallest multiple that 6, 12, 9, and 3 have in common. And I'm going to give this guy a circle here. 36 is the smallest one that I'm finding on all 4 lists. So the least common multiple of 6, 12, 9, and 3 is 36. Therefore, my darlings, the least common denominator that we can turn all 4 denominators into will be 36, the very same thing. So let me prove that to you, that all 4 denominators will turn into 36. So let's go down here and let's actually give them all a denominator of 36. And I'm hoping as I'm writing that you're seeing, oh yeah, those will turn into 36. So I'm going to look at my first guy, 1/6, and I want to turn 1/6 into 36. We've accomplished this already. You know that we have to look and see, how did 6 turn into 36? Well, it got multiplied by 6. So if it got multiplied by 6, I'm going to do the very same thing at the top. And now I have 6/36. So 1/6 is the same as 6/36. They are equivalent fractions. Looking at my second one, I have 7/12. My 12 turned into 36. How did 12 turn into 36? Well, let me just tell you, you can do the division. And if you are not sure, please try it out. Please try to divide. But a lot of us do know that 12 turns into 36 by multiplying by 3. And we know if we want 7 to turn into its numerator, then we have to do the very same thing, multiply by 3. So we have a new numerator for 7, and it's 21. So the fraction 7/12 is equivalent to 21/36. 5/9, 9 turns into 36 by multiplying by 4. So therefore at the top we've got to do the same. Take that 5 and multiply it by 4. So 5/9 is the same as 20/36. And last but not least, my 2/3. My 3 turns into 36 by multiplying by 12. So therefore I got to do the very same thing to the top. 2 times 12 is 24. So let's just take a pause here and back up and reflect on and remember, what are we doing all this for? Remember, our goal, here's our problem at the top, was to list our fractions in order from greatest to least. And when we were looking at our fractions of 1/6, 7/12, 5/9, and 2/3, there's no way we would be able to compare them. We have no idea what the greatest or the smallest fraction is. But now that we gave them all the same denominator, we gave them all a denominator of 36, now it's a whole lot easier. So keep in mind, I'm still using that fraction 1/6. I am just calling it 6/36. Remember, they're equivalent, so it's still the same fraction. It just has a different denominator. So now that I have them all in 36, 6/36, 21/36, 20/36, and 24/36, it is so much easier to see what the largest of the fractions are. And I hope that you're looking at that and thinking, this guy right here is the winner. 24/36 is the largest amount out of all 4 fractions. So that means over here on the side, I'm going to write my 24/36 because he's the biggest. I'll even check them off so we can remember we used them already. Next in line would be the next biggest after 24/36, and that would be our 21/36. That would be this guy right here, 21/36. Then comes a little bit smaller than that, the 20/36. And last but not least, our little guy, our 6/36, is the smallest amount out of all of those. And just to make sure you understand why we were able to order those so easily, what does 24/36 really mean? It means if I had something and I cut it into 36 pieces, I would get to have or eat 24 of them. This guy, I would only get to eat 21 of the 36 pieces. This one, I would only get 20 of the 36 pieces. And this, I'm only getting 6 of the 36 pieces. So 24/36 is obviously the largest amount of all of those fractions. The only other thing we need to do is get our fractions back to their original form, because up here we were asked to list these 4 fractions. So we have to use these 4 original fractions in our answer. So I'm going to write it down underneath my step 3. I'm going to bring down my 2436, and I'm going to remember what he really started out as. And if you remember right here, he started out as 2/3 in his original form. So I'm going to actually turn him back into 2/3. That's the largest of the original 4 fractions. Next up, my 2136. What did he really start out as? Well, remember, he's right here. He started out as 7/12. So I'm going to write him as 7/12. 2036 started out right here. He was, remember, originally 5/9. So I'm going to rewrite him as in his original form of 5/9. And then last but not least, our 636 was the smallest one, our first guy, which is really 1/6 in its original form. So I have accomplished what I set out to do. I have taken my original fractions, 1/6, 7/12, 5/9, and 2/3, and I have rearranged them so that they are in order from greatest to least. There's one more thing I want to share with you, kiddos, before we are all done with this video. So this was me listing the fractions, and I just listed them and I put commas in between them. And that is perfectly fine if you're asked to list them in a certain order, sometimes least to greatest, sometimes greatest to least. But sometimes you are also going to be asked to use what we call inequality signs. So I'm going to have you look right here. When an inequality sign is something that you're very familiar with, it's simply a less than sign or a greater than sign. So sometimes we're going to be asked to list our fractions and put these signs in between them. So for instance, just like we did actually with your decimals, but if I were to use these particular signs down here, I'm going to get rid of my commas and pretend that I didn't just list them with commas. I want to list them using these signs. So this guy is the greatest of all of the fractions. We have decided that because we listed them from greatest to least. So if he's the greatest, then we can say 2/3 is greater than 7/12. So that means we can put a greater than sign in between 2/3 and 7/12. We also know that 7/12 is bigger than or greater than 5/9, because as we move to the right, they're getting smaller, aren't they? Because we ended with the smallest one. So we can also put a greater than sign here, because what we're saying so far is 2/3 is greater than 7/12, and that is greater than 5/9. And then one more time, 5/9 is greater than 1/6. If we were to list them least to greatest, then instead of having the greater than sign in between all of them, we would have had the less than sign in between all of them, because we would have started with the smallest and worked our way to the largest, which would have been something is less than something else, which is less than something else, and so on. So just that one last thing, you're going to need to be able to use those signs in between your fractions.